This week marks 6 months since the beginning of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This now marks the largest armed conflict we've seen since World War II in Europe.
Yeah, and U.S. officials estimate that Russia has suffered 70 to 80,000 casualties in that period of time, and Ukraine's losses are a bit more difficult to determine, but President Zelensky believes up to 200 of his troops have been killed on a daily basis. Here to discuss is ABC News correspondent Britt Clennett on the ground there in Kyiv, Ukraine. So, Britt, thank you for being with us. 6 months into the war, is there a way to just categorize what stage of war we're in right now?
Well, Amy, TJ, I first want to give you a sense of where I am. I'm on Kyiv's main street, and you can see destroyed tanks behind me and families kind of milling around. They've been moved here on to this main street here in Kyiv as a kind of a reminder of Russian aggression and to really boost morale here ahead of Independence Day on Wednesday. But to your question, Russia has now occupied around 13% more than it had done in 2014. It's attempted to expand and continue to defend into almost the whole of the eastern Donbass. They've taken Kherson and parts of Zaporizhia, including Europe's largest power plant, of course. And in the 6 months, Putin's forces has killed thousands, destroyed countless homes and villages, and uprooted thousands as well. And guys, on the ground here, when you speak to people who have been forced to evacuate their homes and taken everything with them, you can really see the resilience, the relief as they cross into Ukrainian-held territory. But, Ukraine is really determined to take all of the land back that has been taken from them. Zelensky making that part of his war plan, his resolve to take back the land grabbed by Russia in 2014, including Crimea. And, Ukrainians are preparing to strike back with a counteroffensive. Already, they've liberated some villages in the Kharkiv region. They're already weakening Russia's ability to further attack. Ukraine wants Russia to be scared. They want to show that they have the ability to strike it where it hurts, beyond the territory it currently controls. So that's an important point to make, that Ukraine really is fighting back and they have the resilience.
Fighting back, you mentioned there, but what direction could the fight possibly be going? We were just getting word over the weekend that a Putin ally's daughter was actually killed when her car exploded. What should we make of that? And again, the direction things could be going.
Right, it is an interesting development, isn't it? So what we know is that Russia's security service have just said they know who the bomber was, right? They say it's a Ukrainian woman who arrived in Russia a month ago with her daughter. And there's all this kind of detail that they supposedly came up with in 24 hours. They rented an apartment with Dugina, the daughter who lived in Moscow, and a Mini Cooper was apparently used to spy on her, and the car plates were changed 3 times. There is, though, guys, a lot of skepticism around whether they're telling the truth. As we know, Russia has been notorious of carrying out covert operations and assassinations. So that also needs to be taken account when we listen and when we hear these things coming out of Russia.
And we've also, Britt, been hearing a lot about Europe's largest nuclear power plant. It is there in Ukraine. It is Russian controlled, and there have been a lot of attacks around that area. In fact, recently one worker told you that he not only fears for the safety of his family, but he fears for the safety of the world. What's the latest in terms of any safeguarding that plant amidst all of the fighting that's raging on around it?
What we do know is that both sides continue to blame each other for the attacks there. And I spoke to a plant worker in Zaporizhia, and he said the real danger is to the spent fuel storage unit, which isn't well protected. So, if that is destroyed, there is a danger of a Chernobyl-like impact, he says, if the fighting there continues. We also talked to the mayor of Enerhodar, where the plant is, and he said that radiation levels, thankfully, are normal right now. But the bad news is the internet lines have been jammed, so it's making it really hard for them to find out what on earth is going on there.
And Britt, $10 billion in U.S. aid have gone to Ukraine during this war. Is it having an impact?
Yeah, so the impact of US aid has been described as kind of a game changer here. Having more sophisticated and long-range firepower like the HIMARS, the M270s and the howitzers, it's all been very useful, very effective in resisting Putin's forces on the southern front lines. So Zelensky has continuously also said they need more to win this fight.
All right, ABC News correspondent Britt Clennett on the ground there for us. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll check in with you again.
Thanks, guys.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here. To get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.